Hello everyone, I hope that you all are fit and fine, and let me tell you that I am completely fine as well. In the previous video, we had studied about the components of the income tax law. What are the 5 components? First and foremost, the major component of the income tax law is the Income Tax Act of 1961. The second component is the Annual Finance Act, and I told you that the Annual Finance Act is passed to amend the income tax law. Okay. However, is it the only law which can amend the income tax law? Answer is no. The government can also pass other laws to amend income tax law. For example, Taxation Laws Amendment Act. The third component that we saw is income tax rules. The fourth component was circular and notification, and the fifth component, which is not a part of your syllabus but still it is very relevant, and it is case laws, that is the judiciary. Now in this particular video, we are going to cover the entire syllabus in a single video itself. Sir, what are you telling? Entire syllabus in a single video? Answer is yes. So whatever is there in your syllabus, basically they are only a part of calculation of the total income and taxes payable. So all the steps to calculate the total income and the tax payable we are going to see today, and this only we are going to study in detail throughout your course. Okay. Now, first and foremost, let us see the heading. The steps to calculate total income and taxes. Okay, so in this video, we are going to see the steps to calculate the total income. What are the steps to be followed by a assessee? What did I tell you? Assessee means taxpayer in general. Okay, we are going to learn the meaning of assessee also in detail in the coming videos. For now, we will understand the assessee means taxpayer. Okay, so how can the assessee compute his total income or calculate his total income and taxes? What are the steps for the same? What is step number 1? Step number 1 is person. Okay, person means what? Person means people, correct? But however, this meaning is only in the layman's language. In the Income Tax Act, the meaning of person is a little different. Income Tax Act la person meaning is a very wide term which includes different types of organizations also. Hence, a person can be an individual, a partnership firm, a company, limited liability partnership, local authority, association of persons, body of individual, etc. etc. The list goes on. We are going to study the meaning of person in detail also in the coming videos. For now, you should know that the first step is to identify that the taxpayer is what type of a person, whether the taxpayer is a company or the taxpayer is an individual, etc. etc. Because based on the type of the person, the income calculation and the tax calculation will change. Okay, next. What is step number 2? Step number 2 is find the residential status. Okay, residential status means what? Whether the person that we are talking about is resident in India or not a resident in India. Why do we have to find residential status? Because if a person is resident in India, then the global income of that person is taxable. However, if a person is not a resident, then only the Indian income in India is taxable. Hence, it is very important to find the residential status of a person. Okay, whether the person is a resident or non-resident. For that also we have a different separate chapter number 5 that we are going to study. Okay, after every step I have also written the chapter number where we are going to study those parts. Fine. So in chapter number 5 we are going to study residential status. In the ICAI modules the chapter numbers will be different. In my module it is chapter number 5. Okay, next step number 3. Step number 3 is that after finding residential status, we have to make a list of all the incomes that are earned by the assessee. Okay, then we have to group those incomes in 5 different heads of income. Okay, this heads of income is only a major part of the income tax syllabus. What are the 5 major heads of income? Let us see. The first head of income is called salary. Basically, it means that if an assessee is earning a salary income, then it will be grouped under the salary head. Okay, salary head of income. The second head of income, which I have written as HP, it is called house property. House property. House property means what? As the name suggests, if a person is receiving any income because of a house, then it is called income from house property. For example, rental income. So if I am earning rental income, then that rental income should be grouped under income from house property, which is your chapter number 8. Okay, next, PGBP. PGBP means what? Profit and gains from business or profession. Profit and gains from business or profession. So if an assessee is having a business income or a profession income, then such income will be calculated or grouped under the PGBP head of income, that is the profit and gains of business or profession head of income. Next comes the capital gain head. Okay, CG means what? Capital gains. When you were studying your accounting, you would have learned that there are two types of assets. Okay, and the bigger assets are called capital assets, which you put in your balance sheets. Okay, now if a capital asset is sold and the profit that is earned on sale of a capital asset, it is called capital gains. Okay, so this capital gains is also a separate head of income. Okay, and it is your chapter number 10. That is the fourth head of income. What is the final head? IFOS. IFOS means what? Income from other sources. If the assessee is earning an income and if that income is not falling under the first four categories, then that income, if it is taxable, then it should be grouped under income from other sources head of income. Hence, in one way you can say that income from other sources is a residuary head of income. It is a residuary head. Residuary head means what? If an income is not coming in the first four heads, it will come in income from other sources. However, income from other sources also has some other incomes which are particularly taxed under income from other sources head only. For example, dividend income. So dividend income will always come under income from other sources only. So income from other sources has some specific incomes, and also if an income is not coming under any other head of income, then it will be grouped under income from other sources. Okay, so now let us once again tell what are the five heads of income. It is very important. Okay, the five heads of income are: number 1, the salary head of income; number 2, house property; number 3, profit and gains from business or profession; number 4, capital gains; and number 5, income from other sources. Okay, next, step number 4 is provide for exemptions and deductions. Kanna, what is exemption and what is deduction? Exemption and what is the difference between both of them? So if an income, it is not taxable, if an income is not taxable, then such income is called exempt income. If an income is not taxable, then such income is called exempt income. That is only the meaning of exemption. Then what is deduction? Deduction means if an amount is allowed to be reduced against an income. If an amount is allowed to be reduced against an income, then it is called a deduction. For example, if I am earning income from agriculture, I would have already told you that agricultural income is not taxable under the Income Tax Act, correct? Hence, this agricultural income will be exempt. It will be exempt. Hence, it is called exemption. Okay. Now let's say I am earning some business income. I am earning some business income. For example, my sales is equal to, let's say, 1 crore. Okay, and my expenses is equal to 80 lakhs, and net profit is equal to remaining, that is 20 lakhs. So this expenses is nothing but deduction. If an amount is allowed to be reduced against an income, then it is called deduction. Okay, hence I have to pay tax only on my net profit. I need not pay tax on the entire sales. Okay, this also we are going to learn in income concept, that we will learn in the next video. Okay, so hence we should reduce any exemptions or deductions if at all they are present. That is the step number 4. Now let's come to step number 5. Step number 5 means clubbing. Clubbing means what? Income of other persons included in assessee's total income. Income of other persons included in assessee's total income. It is called clubbing. Now, for example, if an assessee has a minor child and the minor child is also earning an income, then the income is not taxable in the hands of the minor child. The income will be taxable in the hands of assessee. Okay. Hence, the income of the minor child is clubbed in the hands of assessee. This also we will learn in detail in chapter number 12. Okay. In your book, it is chapter number 5, study material. Next, set off and carry forward. Set off and carry forward is step number 6. Now, what does set off and carry forward mean? If an income is there, it will be taxable under the income tax law, correct? However, if a loss is there, will the government come and give the assessee some money? Answer is no. If a loss is there, government is not going to come and give money to the assessee. Instead, government is giving a provision that if at all an assessee is incurring a loss, the assessee can set off that loss with the other incomes, okay, and pay tax only on the remaining income. So if at all an assessee is having a loss, let's say an assessee is earning rental income of 10 lakhs, rental income of 10 lakhs and PGBP income, that is the business income, he is incurring a loss of 2 lakhs. He is incurring a loss of 2 lakhs. Hence, what does the income tax law tell? That you set off the loss against the income and you pay tax only on the remaining balance, that is the 8 lakhs. So this 2 lakhs you set off against the rental income and pay tax only on the balance 8 lakhs. This is called set off. This is also a separate chapter. Now, what is this carry forward? What is this carry forward? Let's say in this particular year, the person does not have any rental income at all. The person has only a business, and from that business, the person has incurred a loss of rupees 2 lakhs. Now what to do? There is no income available to set off. In such case, this person can carry forward this loss to the next year. Carry forward this loss to the next year, and next year when this person is having a business income, this person can set off against the business income in the next year. You get my point? This is called carry forward of losses. So set off and carry forward is step number 6. After doing all these steps, you will arrive at a figure. This figure is called gross total income. This amount is called gross total income. Now, against this gross total income, the Income Tax Act is giving another set of deductions. Which are given in chapter 6A. Chapter 6A means the chapter in our book. Answer is no. Chapter 6A is the chapter in the Income Tax Act. I told you, no, Income Tax Act has chapters. Chapters means what? A group of sections. Okay. So similarly, in Income Tax Act, there is a chapter called chapter 6A, which contains many deductions. Those deductions are also allowed to the assessee against their gross total income. Okay. So for example, if a assessee spends some money to buy a life insurance policy and he spends some money on premium, then that premium is allowed as a deduction under chapter 6A. This is also a separate chapter that you are going to study, and after reducing the chapter 6A deductions, you will arrive at a amount called total income. This total income, you have to round it off to the nearest multiple of 10. You have to round off the total income to the nearest multiple of 10. If at all you are getting carried away, don't worry, we are going to summarize all of it. And if you are not understanding 100%, not to worry at all. You are learning all these terms for the first time. Hence, as and when the course progresses, you will be absolutely clear about all of them. Okay, we are going to study each and every term in detail in this course. That is only your syllabus. Now, next comes step number 8. After we have found the total income, we have to calculate the tax on the total income, correct? So hence we have to apply the tax rates on the income to find out the tax. After that, there are surcharge, marginal relief and 87A rebate, for which I am not going to tell you the meaning now because you will get very confused. So when we are studying the tax rates chapter, you will automatically understand what is surcharge, what is marginal relief, and what is 87A rebate. Next, after that you have to add health and education cess to the tax. HEC means what? Health and education cess, which is always 4%. Always 4%. It should be added to the tax, and then you will find the total tax. Correct? You will find the total tax. From this total tax, you have to reduce the taxes that are paid in advance, and the taxes paid in advance are called advance tax, TDS or TCS. Advance tax, TDS or TCS. Sir, what is this advance tax, TDS, TCS? For now, you just understand that they are the taxes paid by a person in advance itself. Okay? Taxes paid in advance. We have a separate chapter itself where we will study everything in detail. Next, after reducing the taxes that are already paid, we will get the amount of the actual tax that is payable or refundable. Okay, sometimes what will happen, the assessee might pay some excess money itself in advance. In such case, the amount will come as a negative figure. This negative figure is nothing but refund that the government will give back to the assessee. The government will give back to the assessee if the assessee has already paid some excess tax. Okay, hence tax can be payable also and it can be refundable also, and this tax payable or refundable again has to be rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10. Okay, now we have found out the income also, we have found out the tax also. After that the assessee or the person, okay, he has to give information to the government. He will calculate his tax, but all this calculation information he has to give to the government. Correct? How will he give the information to the government? By filing the return of income, or you might also call it income tax return. Income tax return. So let us structurize and summarize everything once again. Okay, one more time. What very important, listen very carefully, because if you have this picture in your mind, you will be able to link all the chapters perfectly and study them together, and you will be able to answer the questions in the exams even better. So first and foremost, we have to find out the taxpayer is what type of a person. Is he an individual, or is he a firm, or is he a company, etc., etc. After knowing what type of a person that the taxpayer is, then we have to find whether the taxpayer is a resident or a non-resident. Because for a resident, the global income is taxable, but for a non-resident, only the Indian income is taxable. Next, now we will make a list of whatever incomes are there, and we will divide those incomes into 5 heads of income. What are the 5 heads? Number 1, salary. Number 2, house property. Number 3, profit and gains from business or profession. Number 4, capital gains. And number 5, income from other sources. After classifying them, now we have all the incomes. Now certain incomes will be exempt, so we should not consider the exempt income, and there are certain deductions allowed against the income, so those deductions we have to reduce from the income. We will get the net amount. Okay, after that, if at all some other person's income also should be included in the taxpayer's total income, we should do that. It is called clubbing of income. After clubbing, we have to do set off and carry forward of losses. I told you that a loss can be set off against an income, and tax has to be payable only on the net income. If at all the losses are more than the income, then the loss can be carried forward to the next year, and it can be set off against the income of the next year. It is called carry forward. So after doing all these calculations, we will arrive at an amount. This amount is called gross total income or GTI. Okay, against this GTI, again some more deductions are allowed. Those deductions are called chapter 6a deductions. After reducing those deductions, you will get TI, that is total income. This total income should be rounded off to the nearest multiple of 10. On this total income only, you should apply the tax rates. You should apply the tax rates. After applying tax rates, you should add the surcharge. You should reduce marginal relief if any, or you should reduce the 87A rebate if any. After that, on the net amount, you have to add the health and education cess, and you have to reduce the taxes that were already paid in advance. Then finally you will get the tax payable or refundable. Okay, after doing all this information you should give to the government by filing your income tax return. So this is the steps to calculate the total income and the taxes. Okay, be very clear with this, and if you have time, memorize this entire table and keep. It will be helpful for you to study the remaining chapters. So the next concept we will start in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.